Consider this to be a conductor. Okay, it's just a conductor. Now, this is what I showed you over here. You can see this conductor, exactly same thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm saying that the electrons are passing like this. They are passing like this through the conductor inside. Okay, through everywhere inside here, inside, outside, everywhere conductors, the electrons are passing. So I told you to consider the area of cross section. What is the area of cross section? It will be a circle, no? Area of cross
Yes,
section
sir.
will be, yeah. So if you see this circle, electrons if are entering through this circle, what is the angle of attack of the electrons with respect to the area of cross section? 90 degree. That is what I meant. That is what I meant. Okay. Of course, the area vector is going to have a area vector will be actually parallel to the electrons only, parallel to the direction of electrons. Okay. So that
Yes,
way,
sir.
the dot product will have cos 0. The area vector and the electrons flowing, they both will have actually a 0 degree angle. But the attack, the electrons attacking the area, the surface area, the area of cross section will be 90 degree. That is all what I am. Okay, so don't get confused.
Sir,
Huh?
so
Yes.
while finding the current density, we should
Yeah.
consider the angle with the cross section or the area vector.
With the cross section. Good answer. With the cross section. Okay, clear? Everything clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Clear. So I will come to some questions on that also. So we will do questions on that. Okay. We will do questions. It will get interesting. Those of y'all who are here, please listen to me. I'll just repeat this again, this small thing, without wasting too much time, and we'll get into the derivation. So look here. The first concept was about current density. Current density simply means current flowing through a area, and that area is basically area of cross section. A is what? Area of cross section. Cross section. So maybe I didn't mention that. So now it is clear. Area of cross section. So here I'm taking area of cross section only. Okay, it is not on the curved surface. These are not curved surfaces. The area of cross section, it is right in the, I've cut the cylinder. This is what I'm showing. So over here you can see if the charge, amount of charges flowing here, of course going to be by charge of conservation, they're going to be the same over here. Entry will be equal to exit, the magnitude I'm talking about. But if I'm telling you that the area of cross section, which is a circle right here, which is going to be a circle, has some certain angle. Okay, forget the cylinder, forget the cylinder itself. Let's say that the area I have taken is not based on a cylinder. It can be on basically any shape. If I say that area of cross section at a certain angle will have a certain area vector. This green color which I am considering will have an area vector normal to it like this. But my electrons, my current is flowing like this through the cross section. So if I want to find out the charge density, the density, current density, then I know it is going to be di upon dA. But here we can take the component of the area. We can take the component of the area. Why? Because you're having the area vector at a certain angle from the electron with respect to the movement of the electrons. So I can say there's an angle theta. If I have to find out the charge density through that current density through that area of cross section, I have to make sure that it is along the x-axis, and so instead of writing dA, I will write dA cos theta. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. The small things like this, very understandable. No, there should not be any doubt. If you have a doubt, please let me know. Okay. Now, since we have understood this, what will be what can I derive from this? Can I derive the expression of current in terms of current density and area vector? Yes, I can. So I can write it. I can rearrange the term. I can write di is going to be j into dA cos theta. And you can see that the current density here is a vector. Area also is a vector. So I can write it in
Sir,
terms of,
so
yes.
here when the area is slightly tilted, we are
Yes.
considering the electric field which is making an angle with the area vector. So in the same way, why
Yeah.
didn't we consider the angle in the case of when it was at 90° the area?
No, 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 no. The area vector is not making 90° with the flow of the current. Yeah. Okay.
No,
That's
sir.
I'll
What I'm telling is that
okay.
why didn't
Yeah.
we consider the angle with the area vector which the electric field is making?
We consider not the electric field, the current,
Yes, sir.
not the
Current.
current. Yeah. Be specific. See, that's what I'm coming to. That. See. I'll solve that problem. See here. Look here. This is a cylinder, no? You can agree with me. Cylinder. This is the current flowing through it. Okay. Area of cross section
Yes,
along
sir.
this cylinder. If I cut this cylinder in half, I will get a circle. You can imagine that. You can
Yes,
imagine
sir.
that. What is going to be the area vector of this?
It
Area
will
vector
be.
will be in x-axis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Area vector will be along x-axis. Now you tell me what is the angle between the current and the area vector? Will it
0
be
degree.
0?
Yes, sir.
0°. So what is cos 0? 1. So I will write J is equal to di upon dA. Why do I need to consider any component? I know na, it is 0°. That is how I come up to this term.
Yes, sir.
You get clear? Or
Yes,
am I
sir.
not answering your question? Okay. I have answered.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Clear.
Okay. So now see, listen here. Same thing I have taken here. I have tilted that area of cross section like this. The area vector is like this. I want to find the area to take a component, so I wrote dA cos theta. Okay, clear? No doubt. There should not be any doubt. Okay. So let's now, since we have understood that ultimately J is going to be in terms of a tilted cross section dA cos theta. I can write di is going to be equal to J dA, which is going to be, of course, dot product of both these vectors. So please remember one thing, important thing. Current is not a vector, but current density is a vector. Current density is a vector. There can be questions on this. Okay, whether current density is a vector. So you know now, current density is a vector. Current is not a vector. Okay. Now, let's come to a small, I won't say numerical, but some conceptual questions. I want you to determine the current. Okay, what will be the current through a cylinder? Through a cylinder. Okay. Let's consider this to be a wire. Okay, and it's in the form zoomed in. It's a wire. It is having some radius r, capital R. Let's say it's capital R. Then, if this is the current flowing through this wire, okay, find out what is the magnitude of the current. What will it be? Question is again, I'll repeat it. Determine the current through a cylindrical wire of radius r. Okay. If current density through the wire is uniform. If current density through the wire is uniform. So I have told J is going to be what? Current density J is going to be uniform. So simply apply the formula of current density. What is current density's formula? J is equal to I by A. Okay. And what is the area of cross section over here? It will be a circle. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Question is to find out. So now what I can write A as? Can I write it as pi capital R square?
Yes, sir.
So then I will be what? I will be equal to J times pi R square. You understood the way of solving this sums? J is equal to IR J into pi R square. This is the current in terms of current density J. Okay. Let's come to another question. This time you all solve it. Okay. Try to solve it. Now, okay, I am telling you to determine the electric current. Listen to me. Determine the electric current through a cylindrical wire. There is a wire like this, cylindrical wire, of course. and I am telling you that the length of this wire is going to be some L. Okay, having a radius R. But this time, capital R, the radius is capital R. But this time I say that the current density is not uniform. Earlier question was uniform. This time I say J is basically equal to A small r upon capital R. Then can you find out the current through this? Can you find out? At least tell me what can be the approach? What can be my approach? I have to find out current. Just simple as that, current. And I know that the current density is varying. Current density is varying. I have been given a conductor, length L, radius R.
Sir, what is the quantity small r?
Small r, yes. So that is what you have to find out. That is what you have to think about.
Sir, so
I'm
we
just
can divide the
Yeah.
area into small sections or differentiate it.
Yes, of course, you have come to the right point. But what can I take? What can I take as an element? What section? What can I take in a cylinder? What can I take?
Sir, a ring.
A ring, yes. So if I take a ring like this, if I take a ring like this, and I say this ring has a radius of smaller, will it do?
Yes,
Will
sir.
it do? Okay. So if this ring has a radius of small r, see why? Look here. Why he came? This boy has told me to take a ring. See, look here. J is basically varying in terms of what? In terms of a capital radius r, that is the entire radius of this entire cylinder. It is also varying with respect to small r. There itself is your there itself you should get an idea that the element which you have to take has to have a certain radius smaller. So we can take a ring. Brilliant idea. So now I take the ring having a radius r, but what can I take the thickness of that ring? Can I take it as
So dr.
dr? So I will take it as dr. I hope everyone is understanding. If at all not, let me know. So, okay. So this ring is having a certain thickness dr. Now, I can say that simply di is equal to what? J times d. Or J is equal to di upon dA. I just rearrange the term. Just substitute the value. What you will get? Di will be equal to what? A small r upon capital R into area of the ring dA. What is the area of the ring here? Can you all tell me? What will it be? Circumference into thickness of the ring. What will
pi
get?
r square.
Ring.
2 pi r into height.
2 pi r dr.
But which R? Capital R or smaller?
Small r.
Smaller. 2 pi R into dr. Okay, so that way I get the area of this entire ring. Once I get this area of this entire ring, just differentiate with the with radius with the small r at 0 and take it all the way to capital R. That will be your limits. Okay, that way you will cover the entire area of cross section. Simple as that. So now, since I know di, all I need to do is basically integrate it. So if I integrate it, of course I'm going to get I. Okay, so I'll integrate it. What will be my limits for di? 0 to I. What will be my limits for this term on the right hand side? 0 to capital R. Come on, integrate it. What will it be? Integrated. So A will come out. Okay, capital R will come out. 2 pi will come out. Okay, this small r will remain inside. Okay, so I will just, you all can go ahead with the solution. Go ahead. Tell me what is going to be the answer. So I will integrate and I will say
Sir,
that
2
I,
pi a r cube by 3.
yes, right. So I is going to be what? I will remove A outside, capital R outside. I will remove 2 pi outside. Okay. Apart from that, I have R square over here. So integration of R square dr, which is simply going to be, Okay, of course, limits are going to be from 0 to capital R, which is going to be A upon capital R 2 pi. Okay, integration of this will be R cube by 3. And if I put the value of the limit, I will get capital R. Yes or no? Yes or no? So what I will get now? This R and this R will get cut. So what remains? Others also should answer. No problem if you tell me the wrong answer. 2 pi A R square by 3. This is going to be your current. Okay, so now you know how to find out the current in terms of current density. And we have also solved two questions. One question based on a current density which is uniform. Another we solved just now, that is the one which we are doing, which has a current density varying. When I say that this current density, I'll write it here. I wrote it. The J is equal to A small r upon capital R. When I say that the current density is varying with this, okay, what first should come to your mind is the formula of current density. What is the formula of current density? J is equal to I by A. Okay, J is equal to di by dA. So if and what is going to be A? That should be in your mind. dA is basically area of cross section. So ultimately, if I take anything, any object, whether I take a cylinder, whether I take a cuboid, any object, doesn't matter. If I am telling you J is varying with some random variables, the first thing you should come to your mind is it will either vary with respect to the area of cross section, or it will be varying with respect to the current. That is the only two things. Okay, what is small a? It is just a constant. It's just a constant. It is there to confuse you, nothing else. Just a constant. Okay. So let's go to another small sum. Of course, these are not sums, these are conceptual questions. Let's say that I want to determine the current through a cylindrical shell. Always remember, shell means what? Inside is empty. Okay, this is a cylinder. It has a radius small r1, and it has a outer cylinder has a radius of small r2. Tell me what is going to be the current through this. At least now you tell me. I told you it's a cylindrical shell. Oral answer it is. What is going to be the current? J is equal to what?
Sir,
I upon
2
A.
pi A R2 square by 3.
No. It's okay. No problem. See, J is equal to I upon A. I will be equal to J into A. Okay. What is the A? What is A over here? Tell me. What is going to be the area? I told it's a cylindrical shell. If it's a cylindrical shell, is there current flowing through this? No. Current is only flowing through this. It's a shell.
Pi R2 minus R1 square will be the area.
Yes. Pi. So I can write it is going to be J into, okay, J into pi. Of course, I want only this part of the area. So I will say pi r square, but only of the outer ring will be the difference of the radiuses. That will be r2 square minus r1 square. So this is going to be your current through a cylindrical shell. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to another question. Let's say that I have, it's funny, these are all easy questions. Let's say I have a cuboid. I'm not very good at drawing this. Okay. Okay, consider this to be a cuboid now. Okay, and this is going to be having some length L, and it's going to have some breadth B, and of course it's going to have some height H. And I'm telling you that the current basically is flowing in this direction. Now, can you all tell me the current in terms of current density? Tell me what is I equal to.
Sir, I is equal to J into B into H.
I is equal to J, B into H. Any other answers? Any other answers? No answers. Okay. So, anyways, correct, you're right. So, when current is passing through this, I have shown you the current is in this direction. Area of cross section, it will be what? This will be your area of cross section. Because current is flowing like this in this direction. So, area of cross section is what? B into H. So, I can write I is equal to J times A, and J as it is, area of cross section is B into H. This is current. Okay. Right. So let's talk about drift speed. What is the meaning of drift speed? Okay. Now, for those who know, great. Okay. For those who don't know, listen to me. These concepts, this drift speed, which will be coming on, and the movement of electrons in an electric field, what will be RMS voltage, all these things. If you are even thinking of getting into electronic engineering or electrical or any type of engineering, okay, your first year is all going to be common. So you will have all these concepts. If you pay attention now, you don't even need to attend those classes. Okay, so I'm just letting you know all the concepts in your 12th standard in physics and maths are the same in a first year engineering. Okay, so you do here, it's going to be easy over there. So what is drift speed? Okay, see now imagine in a conductor, there are number of free electrons. Number of free electrons. You can't even count. And basically these electrons, okay, will have a certain amount of movement. They will be having some movement, they will be having some speed, even though there is no electric field. Even though there is no electric field, okay, electrons everywhere at this point in the conductor are going to have some random directions. And of course, the behavior of these electrons changes with temperature and all that. Okay, so they will have random directions and random velocity. Okay, so ultimately what happened is by experimentation, I hope you all have studied this in gas, while learning about the characteristics of a
Yes,
gas.
sir.
Yeah, so you will know that
RMS
RMS velocity, okay, is basically what? Remember, 3 kT upon, what is it? 3 kT upon mass. Okay, but mass belongs to what? Mass belongs to the mass of an electron here. Okay, and K is what? Boltzmann constant. T is what? Temperature in Kelvin. So substitute, put room temperature and see what is the speed. Okay, it's going to be 3 into, what is the Boltzmann constant? Anyone remembers? No one remembers. 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23. Temperature, Kelvin. Tell me what is room temperature in Kelvin? 300.
298 Kelvin.
Yeah, take it 300. Mass of an electron will be 9.1 into. If you all solve many problems, you all will be knowing all this by 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 is the mass of an electron. How much does this sum up to? How much do you get? Okay, VRMS comes up to, you won't imagine, 10 raised to 5 meters per second. 10 raised to 5 meters per second. That means in a conductor, basically in any wire, okay, remember all these things, any wire you take, okay, including your USB chargers or your earphones or whatever, they are all conductors. Okay, they are all conductors, all wires. They have electrons moving at this rate, 10 raised to 5 meters per second. without any application of electric field. Without any application of electric field. So now the question is, what happens when we put electric field? What do you think happens? Will they move fast? More fast? Okay. So before we
Sir, they
understand
will
that,
get a
let's
direction.
they'll get a direction, but what will be the speed? Will it decrease or will it increase? Okay, that's going to be our next question. But before understanding that, let's understand the movement of electrons. Movement of electrons. Okay, I'll stop using the black marker. It's got over. So movement of electrons, let's imagine that this entire board is a part of a conductor. And this conductor will have how many ions in it? Of course, there will be incredible amount of ions at every point. And with ions, the majority carriers in a conductor is what? Electrons. So if this electron right here, if I say that green color is the electron right here, this electron has to go to this distance. What will be its path? Will there be collisions along the way? Yes or no? Will there be collisions along the way for this electron? It will go here, to dash this, collide here, collide here, collide here. This is the movement of an electron. Okay. Inside a conductor.
Sir, but wouldn't their attractive forces stop the electron from moving?
No, right now I'm not considering that. This is without electric field. This is without electric field. Just random. Your just conductor is just placed on the table. Just a random wire. So your electrons will basically collide, 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 and reach at whatever point they want to reach. But one interesting thing is, if I take an area over here, if I take an area over here like this, okay, the amount of electrons which are going from left to right will be the same as the ones which are going from right to left. It's an interesting observation. Okay, although the motion of the electron is random, if you take any surface, no, if you take any surface, the net charge passing through this, net charge passing through an area within a conductor will be what? Of course, there will be some minute, but almost it's going to be zero. Okay, because of conservation of charge. Okay, as soon as you put the electric field, what will happen? As soon as you put the electric field, it has been noticed that the velocity of the electrons is 10 raised to minus 4 meters per second. Can you imagine that? So velocity, drift velocity is 10 raised to 5 meters per second without electric field. And with electric field, 10 raised to minus 4 meter per second. So this is drift velocity. Okay, electric field is applied. Electrons will shift opposite to the field. Of course, you take this conductor, you apply electric field in this direction, electrons will flow in this direction. And of course, collisions will not stop. Okay, the collisions which the electron goes through, that is the zigzag path of the electron, will always remain. They will always remain. But under the electric field, the reason the speed reduces to 10 raised to minus 4 meters per second is basically the displacement from one point to another point is very short, is very less under the electric field. The displacement I'm talking about. Okay, the displacement is very less. These were some theoretical concepts. Now let's come to a derivation. Okay, let's do this. Let's say that the force experienced by a charge in the presence of an electric field, you all can imagine a conductor, and I put the electric field in this direction. So the force experienced by any charge over here is going to be what? In the opposite direction to the electric field. Can I write that force to be? Can I write it to be E times Q. You don't remember this formula? E is equal to F by Q. Now we remember?
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah. So E is equal to F by Q. I derived F is equal to E into Q. But here, right over here in this diagram, what are we considering the charge? We are considering what type of elementary particle here. Is it an electron or proton? Proton will be in the direction of a electric field. Electron will be in the direction opposite to the electric field. So can I write, instead of charge over there, can I write a negative electron E? I wrote it like this. F is equal to E times small e. This is our first expression. Okay. Now look here. Look here. Force can also be written as mass into acceleration. Can it be written like that? So I will write mass into acceleration equals to E times small e. So the acceleration which an elementary particle receives is going to be what? E times capital E upon the mass. Okay. This is an important concept. Second thing we know from whatever we studied in 11th standard, V can be written as U plus AT. U plus AT. Substitute the value of this over there. Of course, I am taking the initial velocity to be 0. So then I will write E times E upon M into T. But here what I will say, that this T is, I will replace it, of course, with tau. Basically, it's same thing, time. But here, tau represents relaxation time. It represents relaxation time. What is meant by relaxation time? There are so many electrons or ions in a conductor. Okay, the electron has to basically collide all these ions and pass through it. So the amount of time it gets to go from one collision to another collision is called relaxation time. Is this clear? Tau, what is the meaning of tau? Relaxation time. Okay, this is the time between two collisions in a conductor. Clear?
Sir, can you please
Yes, sir.
explain the derivation again?
Okay, see. Where are you stuck? From the beginning itself? From the beginning itself?
No, sir, from the third step.
Third step. This one, mass into force can be written as mass into acceleration, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So mass into acceleration, I substituted mass into acceleration over here is equal to E times small e. And then I found out what is A. What is A? Acceleration. So I can basically, with this formula, I can derive the expression for acceleration equals to small e times capital E upon mass. Okay. Acceleration of an electron opposite to the direction of the electric field has a magnitude small e times capital E upon mass, whereas E represents electron, capital E represents what? Electric field, and M represents the mass of the charge, whatever you consider. Then I said, I want to find out what is going to be the velocity. Okay, I know acceleration. I want to find out what is velocity. So I applied this formula, V is equal to U plus AT. This is from 11th standard. You remember this?
Yes,
U plus
sir.
AT? Yeah. So
Yes,
you
sir.
take 0. Of course, the electron will have some initial velocity, but we'll consider that to be 0. So in that case, what will happen? Velocity becomes what? Small e times E tau upon M. Okay. Of course, the reason I'm telling tau, this time, no? This is velocity, by the way. So you got two formulas. This tau is basically the relaxation time. Time between two collisions in a when the electron passes through a conductor. So many ions are there here. So of course the electron is going to collide with so many ions. So the time required, the time actually between two collisions can be represented as tau. Okay. So now
Yes,
we know
sir.
what is velocity. We know acceleration of a electron. Everyone clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now listen to me. There are 2 minutes left. So we will do two numericals immediately. Listen to me. I'm telling you, an electron beam is there. Electron beam, it has an aperture. Okay. Electron beam having an aperture 2 millimeters square. Okay. A total of 5 into 10 raised to 18 electrons go through that. Okay, go through a perpendicular cross section per second. Find out what is current. What is going to be the current? There is an electron beam like this. This is a beam. Consider this to be a beam. I'm telling you the aperture is 2 millimeters square. And I'm also telling you total number of electrons that pass through the beam is 5 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. Then I'm also telling you they are going through a perpendicular cross section per second. You can take this to be a cross section. Find the current. Can you tell me the approach? Okay, listen to me. Since we have very less time, I'll be telling you. You can find out the amount of charge using quantization formula. Quantization formula is what? N into E, which states that
Yes, sir.
electrons are available in terms of packets. So how many electrons are there? 5 into 10 raised to 18 is there. I'll replace that in terms of N into electron. What is the charge of an electron?
1.6
no?
into 2 minus
How much?
19.
How much? Tell me how much this comes up to. 10 raised to 18 minus 19 is
Sir,
10 raised
8
to
coulombs.
minus 1. 5 into 1.6. 8
8
coulombs.
raised to 8 into 10 raised to
Yeah.
minus 1.
Yeah, 8 into 10 raised to minus 1. Okay, quickly. What? 8 into 10 raised to minus what? What? What is the
0.8.
unit of this? Huh? Coulombs.
Coulombs.
It's coulombs.
Coulombs. Yes.
0.8 coulombs.
Okay, so now you know how much is the charge. Find out what is current now using the basic formula. What is I equal to? Q upon T. Yes,
Yes,
or no?
sir.
What is the time I told you? Time was per second. Area of cross section, perpendicular number of electrons passing through a perpendicular cross section.
0.8 ampere.
0.8 ampere. 0.8 ampere. So now you are able to understand these concepts. Okay. Now, do we have time?